Hi, everyone. Welcome to Concept Wellbeing, the podcast where the intention is well. My name is Jade.
And I'm Aileen.
And we're your hosts for today's episode. If you're new, hi. If you're not new, welcome back.
I just have to tell everyone I'm very excited about this episode.
Ooh, okay.
And so we're going to switch our roles this time. Okay, because Jade is usually, I would say, our primary host, and I am just the co-host that talks and randomly asks questions. So this time it's all about Jade, okay, and her new found hobby slash lifestyle. So drum roll, please, Jade. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
So this episode is the concept of clearing energy, which Jade has done using different instruments and sound bowls. So, Jade, tell us a little bit about how you got into sound baths and your experience with that.
Okay, well, if you guys haven't listened to our three-part episode series on the concept of Bali. That was a interesting time for me. But long story short, I went to Bali. I was minding my own business. I went to a sound bath. I didn't think it was gonna be a big deal. I went to a sound bath and I was like, cool, 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 cool. I went to this like magical place, got a sound bath, saw a couple colors, went back to my hotel, did yoga, was able to finally get into crow pose for the first time after like a year of trying to get into crow pose. In that moment when I was doing crow pose, I looked down at
What
my
the
phone and
hell
I
is
saw an
crow
email.
pose?
Crow pose is like almost like a handstand. It's
Okay.
almost like a handstand, but like your feet are like tucked into your like armpits. It's
Okay. Got it.
it's
Got it.
it's quite the experience. And I wasn't able to do it. And I finally was able to do it that one day after that sound bath. And as I got out of crow pose, I got an email from the people that did the sound bath. And it basically was like, hey, rate your experience. And then along with rate your experience, it was like, here are other offerings. Like take a like introduction to sound bowls and learn about like acoustical massage and all this stuff. And I was like, you know, I don't have anything planned on this trip. Like, would I hate learning about sound bowls? Might as well. And so I booked the first appointment to learn about sound bowls. And in that first appointment, I learned how to do a sound bath and like the history of sound bowls and stuff like that. I can actually teach you guys a little bit of things that I learned from that first session because I had a lot of questions. So, one question that I had from just everything that I see on the internet is like the crystal bowls versus the metal bowls. You know what I'm talking about? Like the crystal
Mm-hmm.
bowls are usually like white. So I had a big question because I think those are super cute. And so all the ones that this man had were metal bowls. And I think they're actually made out of like bell material. So like that's why they like
Or
make
like
that like
brass?
yeah. Is it brass or bronze? Or I think it could be a combination of things.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, what's the difference between like the metal versus the crystal? And first, there's a difference between like metal bowls that are handmade and metal bowls that are like manufactured. Like, I don't know. You
Mm.
can like see the difference. Like, you could see that they were like hammered versus if they're manufactured, they're very smooth. But
Interesting. And which one's better?
hammer, like, do you mean like out of the
Like
metal
which
bowls?
one's, yeah, out of the metal bowls, one is there a difference in one's better than the other? Or are they like the same and it's just preference?
I think that's a great question. I would go for the handmade ones because I think it just, there's a little bit more thought that goes into it versus like the manufactured ones. The ones that are, I have manufactured ones and I have handmade bowls. And the difference between them is the size. So I wouldn't be able to tell you, like, do they sound
Oh,
differently? But I think that they might. I also think it depends on the material that they use because there's different types of bowls. So I
Okay.
have a full moon bowl, like a the 3 that I bought from Bali are for full moons, but there were different ones. Like they had like different like logos on them. So I think they're all different. So
Okay.
that's the difference between those, but the difference between the crystal bowls and the metal bowls. Have you ever had a sound bath, Aileen?
I have never had one. I've heard about them.
Okay.
Um, I do know that like certain frequencies of sound and I mean, music and sound are just so important with a person's like vibe, like their vibration.
Yes.
And it's very important to like for it's I don't know if you've heard of this, but this is what I think of when I first started to learn about this stuff is like on New Year's Eve and into New Year's, right? You stay up till midnight. So being Hispanic, we have certain traditions that we do, right? So like you I'm sure you've heard of like you wear like red underwear for love or yellow underwear for
I only
money.
heard that from you, girl. I've
Okay.
only heard that from you.
Listen, ask some Latin people out there and they're going to tell you. The other thing is like you throw like pennies in your door. Like and it's like a thing. But you need to hear the clanging on the ground and you're supposed to get pots and pans and like bang them together because it's supposed to clear the energy of your house
Oh.
with that sound, right? Because like you don't have sound bowls or whatever. So you just take pots and pans and you bang them together, right? And to bring in like brand new energy and clearing the energy for the new year. Um, so that's kind of like how I relation it back to there, but I do I guess I've had someone do like drumming before,
Mhm.
but not like the bowls per se.
Okay.
So, but tell us a little bit about like the process and like what you learned about like a sound bath.
Okay. So, I learned and I thought this was the most interesting thing for me. I have had I think 2 sound baths before that one in Bali. 1 or 2, I think. And what I learned is that every sound bath is different.
Okay.
So, depending on the person that's doing it, that depends on how they're going to create their sound bath, right? Like no one is going to be the same because sound baths are also a way for self-expression, like for you to kind of like express yourself. And to be honest, while I was learning to play these instruments, like it is kind of like however you feel. Like yes, there's a little bit of like music theory, like there should be a little bit of rhythm and stuff that goes into it, but for the most part, like no one is going to play the sound bowls the exact same way. So I thought that was honestly my favorite part. When he told me that, I was like, "Oh, so like now whenever I get a sound bath, like it makes it a little bit more beautiful to me because I realize that that's the way that that person felt like expressing themselves." So
Oh,
that is my favorite part. And so whenever I give a sound bath to people, for me, it's a really big way for me to express myself. And it's a way for me, like, it's almost like a creative outlet because it's a lot like play, but they're instruments, right? And it's just like, I feel like these instruments for me, I don't know if it is for everyone else, but I feel like I can't play them incorrectly. Like, it just kind of like flows and it just sounds beautiful. Like there's no way to mess up a sound bath in my opinion.
okay.
Um I will say though, if I had to choose between the metal bowls and the crystal bowls, I do like the metal bowls more. I've noticed that I can hear, and this honestly, I know I'm particular sometimes, but when so all right, let me backtrack. So there's a couple of ways for you to use the bowls, right? Like you can hit the bowl, and you guys, I'm gonna hit a bowl. So just a heads up. I'm gonna hit the bowl just so I don't scare you. Because I know sometimes when I listen to podcasts and they make sudden noise, I'm like, why would you do that? So here's a heads up. I'm going to hit the bowl. This is with a soft mallet, like it's soft. Did you hear that?
Yes, but it's so
Okay.
cool that the sound like carries on. It's not just like you hit it. It's like it goes on for a few seconds.
Yeah. And I really like that about these bowls. I feel like the crystal bowls are a little bit different. So the metal bowls have like there's like extra tones. Like if you put it next to you, you can like hear, I can't explain it, but it's so nice to hear. I think it's called overtones. And so there's multiple tones that go into a metal bowl versus a crystal bowl. You'll just hear that one tone. So
Interesting.
when I put the bowl next to me, so I use the bowls to meditate daily. I use it daily to meditate, and then at nighttime I'll do like a acoustical massage. So when I am meditating, I'll put the bowls like close to my face and like close to like my body, and the sound comes from the side of the bowls. It doesn't come from inside of the bowl. So you like every time you hear it, you want to put the bowl like the outside of the bowl next to what wants to hear it, if that makes sense. It's not the inside of the bowl that's making the sound, it's the sides.
Oh, okay.
So, I prefer the metal bowls. I don't know, they just like speak to me more. I've been using them to meditate, and I think they've been very helpful for clearing my brain. I know before I would listen to like binaural beats and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I think they're very similar in the way that they were entertaining my brain, right? So this, I think sound is considered a what is it called? A brainwave entertainment. So brainwave entertainment is a process by which external stimuli such as sound, see, light or vibration influence the brain's electrical activity. This influence can result in change of the brain's state of consciousness, such as increased relaxation, improved sleep, and reduced stress and anxiety. So the way that I can describe it to you is like your brain will mimic the sound that it's hearing. So if it's hearing a relaxing tone, it will like try and match that tone. So this is what the sound bowls do to me. They also tend to have like a and this is for me, everyone's different, right? But for me, they have like an energetic like clearing effect for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this was unexpected because I'm not going to say I don't like to cry, but I don't it's not my like so I realized I do need to cry. And I realized that like maybe looking back on things, like I would go long spurts of time without crying. I don't know, how often do you cry?
Not very often.
Okay, say that actually makes me feel better. And so I will do like these sound baths for myself and like do like the meditation and have the sound bowls next to me, or like I'll do an acoustical massage and like it will clear the energy out of me and I end up crying. Like a real like you just like my dog just died cry. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like getting all of the energy out of me, or like so, I don't know what's going on, but it's a very there's a lot of movement happening within my body. So yeah, that's the way that works for me.
Very cool. I was going to ask you what are the benefits, but you already went over them.
Oh, there's more benefits. So let's see. I think I just gave you
Like
maybe
better
two.
sleep, relaxation.
Yeah, so stress reduction is one. So at this point I'm reading from the blog, the blog that we have. So the sounds produced by singing bowls can help to induce a state of calmness and relaxation. Listening to these sounds can activate the body's relaxation response, reducing stress hormones like cortisol and promoting a sense of tranquility. There's also vibrational therapy. So this is what I use. This is pretty much the acoustical like massage, the contact when I put like the bowl on me. So the vibrations produced by the singing bowls are thought to have a therapeutic effect on the body. It is believed that these vibrations can penetrate deep into the body's tissues, promoting relaxation and releasing tension, which can especially be beneficial for anxiety related muscle tension, which makes sense because I'm an anxious little girl sometimes. And so The thought process behind that is like your body is mostly made up of water. And so the vibrations are able to like move water. And so since you're mostly water, that's why it's able to like penetrate. So that one's actually my favorite one. And I think that's the time that the vibrational therapy is when I actually, that was the first time that I experienced like the healing powers of sound bowls, which was when I like put it on my chest and like hit the bowl. And so I usually put the bowls on different chakra sites. And so like I'll
Hmm.
start down at the bottom, the root chakra, and then move all the way up. I don't go past my throat chakra. It like stops at my heart because I'm not putting the bowl on my throat or my forehead. That's is a bit much for me. I haven't gotten there. But yeah, the first time that I experienced the healing of the sound bowls, I was using vibrational therapy. And once it happened, my response was, first of all, I was speechless, speechless for a couple of minutes. I was like, hold on, let me get my life together really fast. And then my thought was, why didn't I know about this? And why don't more people know about it? Because I was like, I can use this as a way to relieve anxiety, and I think more people should know about it. So that is what really started the
Very
whole,
cool.
yeah.
And do you see a difference between like the sound baths that you've had prior to now that you're doing them more frequently? Have you noticed any differences?
Do you mean with like the ones that I've had by other people versus the ones that I do myself? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Everyone does them differently, but I do notice, like, especially where I'm at, everyone uses the crystal bowls. Like everyone has the crystal bowls, and I don't use those. I also notice like a lot of people only use sound bowls during the sound bath, and I have a couple of more instruments to go along with the sound bath. And the man that taught me how to do sound baths, he was like, listen, sound bowls are great, but sometimes it's nice to like liven things up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So like
Mm-hmm.
introducing other sounds throughout the sound bath make it a little bit more exciting. It also like keeps people like a little bit more interested sometimes, like we're, because the brain at that point is like trying to figure out what's going on, like it can't quite put a pattern to it, so it just kind of gives up and is like, okay, I'll just go with the flow. So I have a couple of other instruments that I use, and it's inspired by the elements. And so each instrument goes along with like an element. So there's fire, earth, water, and air. And so
Okay.
when I do a sound bath, I typically start with earth. So the earth sound is a drum. And so I have a drum that I typically play. We'll start off with earth. And then after that, I will move into water. It's like I'm like the avatar over here. So I'll move into water. Should I be playing these sounds while I'm like
Yes.
introducing them?
So
Okay.
like
All right.
play the drum for us.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to like get the sound nice, but I'm also holding my microphone in my hand as well. So here's the sound of the drum, and I'll usually do this close to a person at the very beginning. Hold on. Well, you can't hear it. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's because it was laying down on me. It has to be up. So
That's
that is
interesting. The difference between it laying down and standing up. The
yeah, there
different
was
sound.
nothing behind it, or there's nothing behind it. It sounds better versus like when I'm like all up on it, it's like it sounds like muffled, I think.
Yeah.
And this one was interesting because a lot of the drums are not vegan, and so I had to go find a vegan one. So that was an exciting journey. All right, and then the next one is water. So I have two water sounds. So that's the first one. That sounds like, what does that sound
I
like to
feel
you?
like I'm laying by like a river and water is rushing down.
Okay.
Not
That,
rushing, but slowly going
like,
down.
yeah, like flowing. All right.
Yeah.
And then we have this one. Now, this one is kind of hard to do with just one hand. So hold on.
It's either it
All right.
sounds like either like a rainstorm or a waterfall.
Yes. So that
Like
one,
water falling.
yeah, that one is like that one could be very extreme or it could be very soft depending on how I do it. And it's it had to be extreme because I only had one hand, to be honest with you. That's just the way it had to be. So sorry about it. So that's the water sound. And then I'll move into fire. My fire is like a rattle. So it's like this one. And I'll So I usually like to start off the sound bath like pretty chill, and then it'll get like more intense in the middle, and then we'll like slow it down towards the end. So that's why fire is like in the middle.
Okay.
And then the last one is air. I don't know how I'm going to do this with one hand. I will not lie to you. Here we go.
That one's fun.
I love this one. This one, that one's my favorite one. Not that I don't love all of them. And then I'm learning to play the harp. I will be learning to play the harp. So to bring everyone back from the sound bath, like you're supposed to like pull on their heartstrings to like make them come back. So like a stringed instrument is nice at the end of the sound bath. And so that's why I was like, I'm gonna learn to play the harp because I'll like bring them back with that. Also, they made me learn to hum. Did I tell you about that?
No.
By far the most embarrassing moment of that entire trip.
Why?
I don't know why I was so embarrassed, but it's like, so they're like teaching me about the sound bath and they're like, okay, and to bring people back, like hum, and like play like a stringed instrument. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, you have to find your song. And I was like, I had to find, okay. And so
Now I'm
immediately I
curious,
was,
what's your song?
so they told me that. And obviously all I can think of is like some ratchet shit, right? It's like Megan the Stallion pops into my head. I'm like, Jade, this is not gonna work for a sound bath. Like, what are you gonna do? And so they like made me close my eyes. And first of all, they're both just looking at me. Beautiful people, right? They're just looking at me. They're like, you'll find it. It took me like 5 minutes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot for you to be like awkwardly humming. And so I found it. And what I noticed is that I can't be nervous when I hum because I have to give it my all. Because last time I was nervous when I hummed and then my like voice was like cracking. And I was like, it was really sad. Can I hum right now? I don't know if I have it in me.
It's okay. We
It's
trust that you can.
I can hum. I can hum. It's not anything crazy, but usually I will bring people back from the sound bath with like a, start to bring your attention back to your body and stuff like that. Um so that's usually how that goes. I like to bring in all of those elements. Um I
That's
think
awesome.
yeah, I think everyone has a different experience with it, right? So um I like to always tell people what might happen during a sound bath. Do you want to hear what might happen?
Yes, tell
Okay.
us.
So, what might happen during a sound bath? You might feel like tingling, vibrations, pulsations. You might feel heavy. You could feel numb. You could feel some muscle pain. You could feel like you're floating, like you're flying, like above your body. You could feel like a feeling of release. You could feel separation from your body. You could feel movement of liquids, and you could have like a feeling of electricity. Everyone is different. And then energetically, you could see visuals, colors. I usually see colors, which that was a whole experience for me, which I didn't know was going to happen. You could see faces of people that you do know or you don't know. It could be your ancestors. You may receive messages. You may, like, feelings may come back. They might feel painful. Either way, like, you might need to look deeper and forgive yourself. Just know that anything that happens during a sound bath is important, and so you need to work through it. And yeah, um, I think the most common thing that people ask me is like, what happens if you fall asleep? And
Mhm.
that is pretty normal. Like, it's okay. Like, if you need to fall asleep, you need to fall asleep. That's okay. You don't have to feel bad. Your ears are still opening. You still hear it. So I think that that is fine. Um, but yeah, usually I think people either say, what happens if I fall asleep, or what happens, like, or they can't get work out of their brain for some reason. Like, they'll keep thinking about work while they're
Mhm.
getting a sound bath, and then they get annoyed because they're like, why am I thinking about it? Why am I thinking about work right now? I'm like trying to relax. And then you just get more annoyed. And then, like, then it just, like, you're spiraling. And
Right.
so my response is always to have you focus on your breath throughout the sound bath. So, like, no matter what, if your brain starts to wonder, it's easier for you to just focus on you inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, and remembering that it is your brain, and you think of your brain as like a TV channel. You're in control of the remote. If you don't like the channel, just switch it. So that was the most helpful for me during the sound bath. And so I like to tell people that before they're going to get a sound bath is like, if you don't like what you're focusing on, just change it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And could you like give us a sample of a sound bath, maybe like a minute or two, but just so we could hear it?
Yeah. Hold on. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it with my favorite bowl. Hold on.
Okay.
So,
Get your favorite bowl. Which is your favorite bowl and why?
my favorite bowl is the bowl. So they come in like different, how do you say it? Not notes, but like, how music is like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like that.
Mhm.
It's, yeah. So this one, the note is F. It's my favorite one.
Okay.
And the reason why it's my favorite one, so this is the exact bowl that I was using in Bali when I put it on my chest, and I was like, what was that? That was amazing. I didn't know that that was going to happen. And I was like, this is my bowl. We're besties. And this is the bowl that I use when I meditate in the morning. And this is just like my go to bowl. And yeah, I think, I don't know, it just spoke to me. And so I had to bring it home with me. So we're going to use the letter F.
Okay.
And I'm going to figure out how to hold it so that you can hear. All right. Hopefully, the heathens outside my window are quiet. I'm going to be quiet after this, but I want to say in my sound baths, there's a lot of space of silence. And
Mhm.
so I'll do a sound, and then I'll like let it like fully play out. And the reason is one thing that I was taught while learning about sound baths is like silence is also a sound. And so
Okay.
let people like sit with it. And I think that it hits a little bit more. I've noticed that when I get other sound baths, they move really fast for me. And I'm used to like sitting with a sound and letting it like dissipate before going to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Now we'll bring out some other ones. Okay.
I liked it.
Did you?
Hmm. I'm ready to go to sleep now. It was so
Yeah.
relaxing.
Love that. I gave you like a little bell situation at the end,
Hmm.
because I feel like we didn't talk about the bells, but I have that. I usually do that sometimes when people are snoring or something. So yeah,
You
like,
knew. You're like, wake up, Aileen.
but yeah, that's those are my three main bowls, and then I have a couple of other ones, but those are the ones that I bought from Bali. So I felt like it made the most sense to use those during this during this podcast. But yeah, those are my babies. Do you have any other
That is
questions?
so awesome. So, what are you going to do now? Now that you've learned this and you are practicing using the bowls, but what are your future plans?
Hmm. This feels like a Jade can manifest type of situation. What are my plans? Like, are you asking me like what are my wildest dreams with the sound bowls?
Yeah, like where do you want to go with the sound bowls, or is it just going to continue to be a hobby? Like, what are you doing?
I don't think so. I think I know that I have to do it. Like this is not something I don't have the option to not do it if that makes sense. Like this is something that if I don't do it, I don't think I can not do it. Like there's no I can't explain it, but I feel like this is something that I have to do. Like
Hmm.
it's within me. And that goes back to, the conversation that I had in Bali in sitting in the dark with with a bunch of other girls, and I had to learn some things about myself. Yeah, but yeah, I think that this is something that I need to share with people, and every time that I do it, it makes me so happy, even if I'm just doing it by myself, but especially when I'm doing it for other people. I don't know, I don't know how to explain that. But my goal, yes, I want to continue sharing it with other people. I would love to just have like a place to do it at. Like I
Hmm.
want like a wellness center where I can do like sound baths, and I would love to do like sound baths for couples and sound baths for groups. Like I think that would be so nice, and like I think that people once they experience it, like I will be honest with you, if I thought it was not working for me, like I'd be over it, but I feel it every time. And so I know that like I know the power that it has to like help people and heal people and like really like change people because it changed me. So I would say that would be my goal, like a nice wellness center, with a place with nice sunshine. You know what I'm saying? I like doing sound baths at night, but maybe like if I had like a little garden situation, that would be cute to do it outside. I think that would be really nice. So yeah, I think that's where I see it going. But for now, I do them. I have a sound bath coming up next Sunday for a
Ooh,
couple
exciting.
people. I know, I'm excited. I love it. Like, I don't know, the whole vibe is just nice. Like, I like wearing the dresses and everything. Like it's really like my time to express myself. And
Hmm.
so I think that it's helpful for people, but I also think like I'm also getting a benefit out of it because it makes me so happy to do it. But yeah, I think eventually I would like to have like my own dedicated space to do sound baths and just have people come and do a sound bath. I think that it is,
Very cool. I
yeah,
love that. I love that. I love that you went to Bali, stumbled across this class, got certified in it, and now you found your new passion.
yeah, I think it was unexpected, but I think, sometimes in life you got to let life talk to you. And it talked to me. It yelled at me in my face. It was like, it was aggressive. I won't lie to you. This sounds very nice, like a very nice story. It was the most zigzaggy story you've ever heard. I was so confused. I was like literally staring up at the sky, crying and being like, why is this happening to me? Because honestly, I don't like crying. And like when I hit the bowls on top of my chest, I started crying. Like, did I start crying during that time? No, no, no. Did I start crying that first time? I think it was the
I,
second day that I started
yeah,
crying,
I think it was
actually.
the second
Yeah.
one.
It was the second day. The first day I was just like, "Oh, that was cool. We should do that again." And it was the second day I started crying, and I was like, "What is happening? This is really confusing for me. Why am I crying?" And yeah, it was aggressive, but message was received loud and clear. Even though I wasn't trying to hear it, but I got it. I got it. And so now I have a bunch of instruments and I just play them and I mind my business. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good time for me. So I'm happy with it. And yeah, I think other people need to experience it more. Like I know I need to put myself out there so that people, cuz it is it's a great thing. I just need to share it with people. Sometimes I just keep myself locked away in my little apartment playing in the mirror and I'm like, "Jade, maybe you should play for other people a little bit more."
I like them.
I love them. I think that it's really great, but I'm still working at it and I practice. I think it's important to practice just to get better, but yeah, I'm still learning, I'm still growing. And, I appreciate you for being along with me on the journey because you really were like, you were there the entire time. Really fast before we wrap things up, I think there's a couple of more benefits that I think we didn't get to touch on for the sound bowls
Okay, what are
that I
they?
think would be helpful for other people to know. So we went over stress reduction, we went over vibrational therapy, mindfulness and meditation. I kind of talked about how I use them during meditations, and they're super helpful. It's also helpful for deep breathing. When playing a singing bowl, it's common to take a slow, deep breath to synchronize with the sound and the vibrations. Deep breathing has been shown to activate the body's parasympathetic nervous system, which helps counteract the fight or flight response associated with anxiety. It's also energy balancing. So, in some belief systems, singing bowls are thought to balance the body's energy flow. For me, it does. I feel it. So I guess everyone's different, but anxiety and stress are often associated with imbalances in the body's energy, and using the singing bowls may help to realign these energies, promoting a sense of harmony and well being and emotional release. This is why I be crying all the time. This makes sense. So, engaging with the sound and vibrations of singing bowls can facilitate emotional release, allowing you to let go of pent up emotions and may contribute to feelings of anxiety. So, it does really help me for that. I sometimes I cry like every morning and I'm like, why? Why? I was just going to go to work, but that's fine. Glad I got my cry out. And then lastly is sleep improvement. So, anxiety can often disrupt sleeping patterns, which I don't think we talked too much about my sleeping patterns before I went to Bali, but they
Mm-mm.
were trash. I was fighting for my life at like 3 a.m. So, listening to the calming sounds of singing bowls before bedtime or during a bedtime routine may help promote better sleep and alleviate anxiety related sleep disturbances. So, those were the other benefits that I
Cool.
found. Yeah. Well, thank
This
you
was
for letting me
so,
share.
no, it was super educational. And I'm happy that you shared it. And you need to keep us posted of your journey on this.
I
We
will.
are your number one fans over here.
I will. I will. I put it up on our website that I will do sound baths now. Like
Ooh, have
I
fun.
did. I did. So maybe someone will come like request one through the website. We shall see. Only in the Bay Area though, because I'm not going anywhere else. Right now, before like maybe later on I'll travel, but right now we're just gonna stick in the Bay Area right now. But yeah, that was a big step for me because I was like, am I ready? Like, does this feel like something that like other people would want? Because sometimes I feel this is probably imposter syndrome, and we could talk about this later, but I think I had like the initial like, okay, I'm just learning, like I just learned to do it like in May. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no one's gonna want me to do it. That was my thought. And then like I did it for a couple of people and they were like, that was amazing. Like, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I underestimated myself. Wow, way to tie in that last episode, huh? See how I did that? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
It's
we shall
okay.
see.
I'm excited to see your future. And do you have any last words that you would like to give our
Hmm.
listeners?
I would say go on YouTube, maybe listen to a nice sound bath. And there's one sound, like, you could just type in sound bowls or sound baths and just listen to it and see if it does anything for you. Or binaural beats, those also are brainwave entertainment. But maybe try them out and see how it affects your brain. And, maybe write us and let us know how it affects you at conceptwellbeing@gmail.com. And that is how you end an episode.
Good
Period.
job, Jade.
Thank you. Thank you. So, with that being said, we hope that you have a good day or a good night, and we hope that you are well. Bye.
Bye.